Now, one of my favorite tags, Seinen, it's basically shonen but with a more mature audience in mind. And boy oh boy, this tag, some of the most popular shows and arguably the most controversial, to say the least ones, are from this genre, and that's why I love this particular genre. Parasite the Maxim, Tokyo Ghoul, Kaguya-sama, to say the very least, and many more to come, many more to add on to the list. Bungo Stray Dogs, Black Lagoon, Prison School! I mean, Prison School! Batum, Black Ballad, well, you know it. The more naughty shows, it's more likely to be seinen than it is shonen. And when you want a story that's more complex than just fight someone, win, and then fight someone stronger, win, fight someone stronger, win, be friends, fight again, win, rivalry, that kind of story, then seinen is the tag for you, because in seinen's case, most of the time, if there's an enemy, the enemy goes, or, sometimes, sure, they become friends, but in a more twisted, more realistic kind of way. And in this case, it's not actually bad because it adds on more to the depth of the characters themselves. And yeah, it's definitely enjoyable. But the seinen tag itself is kind of controversial because to give a recommendation towards seinen, I kind of need to divvy them up into more segments. Like, for example, if I were to take seinen shows like Kiseiji or Parasite the Maxim and compare that to seinen shows like, let's say, Monster Musume or Tokyo Ghoul, it's gonna be pretty different. And if I were to take another extreme, if I were to compare Tokyo Ghoul and Kaguya-sama, yeah, night and day, heaven and earth, it's just way too different. So in terms of recommendation for seinen, I'm gonna have to divide them up like this. If you want a more comedic kind of seinen show, then you might want to go for Kaguya-sama, Monster Musume no Ichijo, or, well, stuff like that. If you want action, you can go Black Ballad, Batum, and I want to say Tokyo Ghoul, but Tokyo Ghoul can have a different tag to it. I mean, yeah, it's action, but Batum is more blood and gore. It's similar to Kiseiji or Parasite the Maxim. If you want blood and gore seinen, definitely try Tokyo Ghoul, Parasite the Maxim. You can also try some other shows like Batum, or, well, to be honest, there's so many more, and it's just ridiculous to name them all. But if you want pure comedy seinen, you can also try university comedies like Grand Blue, which is about university life of some students getting drunk all the time. Now, if you want more erotic comedy kind of shows, then you can try shows like Kiss Exist, Monster Musume, Chobits, I guess, and basically a show that has the seinen tag and the ecchi tag. If you put them together, you get borderline hentai. It's not hentai yet, but it's borderline. It's kind of like Netflix shows. These days, the line between porn and Netflix is really thin. And in anime's term, seinen, ecchi, and hentai is just really thin. It's like treading the fine line. And to be honest, it doesn't really feel that much like porn because when those scenes happens, there's usually a context behind it. It's like when you're reading a really wholesome manga and then suddenly there's a naked scene, a fan service naked scene or a buff scene. You don't really get horny, you don't really get a boner because the show is just way too wholesome for you to pop a boner. Unless you're watching the more, intended to pop a boner kind of seinen ecchi shows, in which case, hey, pop them away. But yeah, that's it for the seinen video.